Rightio. For all you out there that have been thinking about, should I go to a 300 two-stroke like virtually the rest of the world seems to be doing, or should I stick with a four-stroke? Here's my personal take on what my thoughts are on that situation. From 17, I've been riding predominantly two-stroke enduro bikes. I had a 17 model KTM XC300. That was an amazing bike once I got it sorted out jetting wise, and up with a can carby on it. And that was a very confidence inspiring bike to ride at speed in the bush. I didn't like it in tight, slow going, technical, hard enduro type stuff, but I feel that they're not designed for that anyway. They're more for speed, cross-country racing, just like the name of them. At the same time, I also had a 19 model TPI Husky 300. Awesome bike in the bush. Never got it to run as cleanly as I would like to have. Did play with it a little bit, but yeah, never came on anywhere near as hard as the XC. Was great in the slow going stuff, but out on the riding like I'm doing today out in the sand, which really saps your power. Like the sand today is only mediocre wet, it's fairly dry really, so it does suck the power. So you've really got to be on the gas on the 300s to keep them up and buzzing along, and they do buzz along when you're riding them hard. And then I went from that to a 20 model Husky 300 TPI, and it was a step up both in handling and the running of it over the 19 model, but it still wasn't as good as the power wise as the XC. I ended up getting two-stroke performance TSP to put a tune in the ECU and machined my head to a medium compression. That, and I also put a red spring power valve spring, and wound the power valve adjuster out to flush, and that livened that bike up significantly. That whole time, I couldn't really come to grips at speed with the light sort of non-hooked up feeling of the two-stroke as compared to the four strokes in the bush at speed. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm not bagging the 300s. They are super amazing in trail riding, hard enduro, and that's why they will run them in hard enduro. Like they rev down to virtually zero revs without stalling. They make grunt from down there. They'll idle around all day. They won't. I had a fan on mine and never overheated. Hell, that was fucking shit. But because of the variety of riding I do a bit of that hard enduro stuff. I do general trail riding. I do out here in the sand. I never really, to be honest, really enjoyed the 300 in this sand. It just took too much effort to keep working on the pipe at speed. Like, I'm a lazy rider, and that's why I think these bigger bore four strokes suit me. Third gear, just torque or rev right to the moon. Whereas a two-stroke will, you know, if you come into the corner too high geared in one of these soft corners, they'll bog down, and yeah, they'll light up if you're aggressive and pop the clutch and all that sort of stuff, but then the power comes on too aggressively, and then that throws the balance of the bike out. And whereas these things, you just screw the throttle and they go. But the other thing that I really sort of half forgot about, but am loving about this bike as over the 300 is the stability and the confidence-inspiring handling that this thing gives over a 300 at speeds, or a two-stroke at speeds. Now, that was sort of highlighted to me a couple of weeks ago when I rode my 300 back-to-back to my mate's 21 model 350 FE at speed trail riding, and that thing just felt so hooked up to the ground. Yes, it felt a little bit heavier, but it feels heavier because it tracks so much better. It's not bouncing and deflecting. Yeah, it doesn't feel poppy. You can't go and wheel stand and pop over logs as easily as the two strokes, but it felt a lot more confidence inspiring to ride at speed. Now, I've only just run this thing in, so I haven't ridden it in tight bush yet, and it will not be as nice to ride in that real slow going as the bloody 300 two-stroke, but I think I can live with it, to be honest. These things don't seem to stall as easy as what I remembered. I have stalled this thing a few times today, just getting used to the four strokes again, but most of the time it's been because I've come hot into a corner still in third or fourth gear and locked up and haven't had to been on the clutch enough. So that's really my fault that I install. That's like I was saying before, these things are actually pretty good for stalling. I idle around first gear now and she'll go down pretty low. And if you've been riding a two-stroke for some time, you learn to cover your clutch, use your clutch a lot. So if you cover your clutch coming into corners, you won't skid your brake and stall as much as you possibly think you would. The engine braking doesn't seem to be a big issue on it. I actually feel that it makes it settle into the corner, like put weight on the front wheel and really drive that front wheel into the ground and give you good traction into the corners, because you can really just jam the front wheel into a small rut and just lay it over and just grunt out of it in third gear, and something that I really struggle to do with the 300 two-stroke. Yeah, so at this stage I think I am going to enjoy this bike from a change from the few two-strokers that I've had. I had revelations in 2012 when I bought a KTM 450 EXC when that new model came out in 2012, which was a massive step up in handling. That bike really improved my riding and confidence in riding at speed in the bush significantly. So I thought I'd change it up this time around and go back to the dark side of the four strokes, and I am pretty amazed at how they've come along. Like the engines just look so small nowadays, like narrow, and they feel light to tip when you've got them and you've stopped, tip over. I think they're only a couple kilos heavier than the 300 two-strokes, to be honest. They don't feel that much heavier to ride. They feel a lot more planted and confidence inspiring. Yeah, so for the style of riding that or the majority of riding that I do, I think this won't be a bad thing. Like I say, the 300s are an amazing bike, or the 250/300 two-strokes are amazing bikes, and you can see why they're used in the slower hard enduro stuff. But yeah, it all comes down to what sort of riding you do and what you feel confident in. But these four strokes, I think people have sort of forgetting and getting polarized by the whole hype of the two-stroke thing at the moment, and forgetting how good these four strokes really are to ride. they've really come a long way. This thing is standard. All I've done is just throwing the bloody highest set of bars on it and some bark busters, and the highest seat off my old bike, and it's still got the standard tyres, and I've pulled a bung out the exhaust, which makes it a little bit louder, but it's not too bad. So anyway, we'll go for a blast. I'm pretty keen. I really think that for my type of riding, have probably done the right thing. I've really enjoyed the riding for a brand new bike that's, you know, not 100% set up or running, suspension wise and that. It has felt really good straight out of the box pretty much. I've done some minor tweaking, but and you know, the suspension will bed in as time goes on, but I think you do have to think, don't discount the 4-strokes. The 300s are an amazing bike, what they're built for, but these things are pretty bloody amazing. Nothing's gone wrong with the old girl today. Bloody chain, little bit of chain stretch, and that's pretty normal for a brand new chain. Everything else pretty normal. One thing I don't like about these new radiator grills are they collect rubbish. I did have some fly screen on the XC when I used to ride it down here a fair bit because you're in long grass, but I don't know, I might have to do something with them because they block up the airflow pretty badly if you don't clean them out regularly. Anyway, I'll do some more rides in the bush and see how she goes in the tight, nasty stuff. It's not going to be as good as the 300, but I think as an all-rounder, this is going to be one amazing bit of gear. Right, I will talk to you later.